Georgina and this is Charles. We are from the iLiving Group and we are specialists in commercial to residential conversions.
Today I wanted to pick up on a topic which is quite interesting and something to consider when you're potentially looking at a commercial to residential building, and something to be aware of right from the beginning of the viewing process. So we like to take Derwent Court as an example. When we came to view this building, it was a big open plan office space, wasn't it? Yeah. Which was sort of split off into some little bit of offices, but generally it was pretty open plan. And it had a suspended ceiling, old-fashioned, which if you can, always good to try and get up in and have a look at what the structure is, because today we're going to be talking about the structure of the building. Now, generally with office buildings, we find we go and view a building and it is a lot, in terms of the structure, it's a lot higher specification than what is required for a residential building. So normally it's a pretty good fit to change to residential because the loading capacities and things are for commercial. And therefore you're going to be normally okay. You need to check with a structural engineer, but you're normally going to be okay with putting residential in there in terms of loading capacities, etc. So it's always good to walk into a building and try and ascertain how it is built. Derwent Court is a great example. We managed to view the building and get up into the suspended ceilings and see that it was a precast concrete slab, which is basically a sort of beam which is precast and it's cast under some sort of tension, which means it's all integral in how it's put together. Parts of the building were cast in situ concrete slab as well, which is a shuttering formation. But the key things to point out with this, great for loading, they'll take a lot of load on the floor, so anything you put in residential wise will be able to, you'll be able to facilitate in the sort of floor itself. But when you're looking at precast concrete beams, which are effectively long planks of concrete with steel running through them that are precast off-site and delivered to site, they are
solid.
They are solid, but it's important to understand that how they're made is that they do not work if they are broken. So when you're, for example, looking at putting new drainage in for sinks, new drainage in for en-suites, you've got to be very careful how you go through and cut through those slabs, because sometimes if you cut through some of the steels in them, you will affect the structural integrity of that beam. So we found out very quickly that this was a precast concrete beam structure, and we had to get our structural engineer on board very quickly to sort of ascertain where those steels were potentially running, how we could get our services through. We've got 36 en-suite bedrooms in here and 6 kitchens in this building, so you can imagine there's a lot of SVPs or soil and vent pipes or stack pipes for the waste to go through down to the ground and out for waste.
The boreholes.
The boreholes, exactly. So it was important to locate where these planks were and see how we could get through them, because if you can't cut through something, where are you going to run all your waste? Yep. So it was a long sort of process, because you don't want to just drill a hole and go, okay, that's fine, because you're risking going through something and cutting something. So we were able to, when we were demolishing the stairs, actually see a precast concrete slab on its side as a sort of a cut-through section, which allowed us to then say, okay, we can now see where those steels run, and they're very, very accurately made. So we were able to measure the exact distance between centre to centre the steels, and they turned out to be 120 millimetres centre to centre, weren't they? And the width that we needed for a core hole for a soil and vent pipe or a waste pipe is 110 millimetres. So which was great, so fantastic. We found out a solution, we can go through these. Now, the next stage is actually translating that to your contractor and emphasising the importance of not going through a steel wire, because it can really affect the structural integrity. So when the building was stripped out, and hopefully we've got some pictures that we can stick in here so you can see how it sort of looks, we were able to measure exactly where these wires run, and we were able to core through and not hit them. It's something that you've really got to consider when you look at commercial buildings. All sounds good on paper, that yes, easily, these buildings are built like this, you can definitely get residential in because the weight's far superior in terms of commercial to resi. But if you can't get your services through the building, and you've got to come up with different ways of doing it, you could potentially increase costs, you could potentially increase your times, so it's not all plain sailing. So something just to consider when you're looking at commercial to residential buildings, the main structure of the building and the fabrication.
Thank you for watching our video. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to get in touch and send us a direct message. We look forward to hearing from you.